Let me go across to our guests now. We have Charu Pragya from the BJP. We have Sulaiman Mohammad Khan from the Congress Party. We have Jyotsna Tirunagari from the TDP. And of course, authors and commentators, Rashid Kidwai and Smita Gupta joining us. To you, Charu, first, you heard K. Suresh speak about, the splashpoint between over the pro-tem speaker's appointment. Tell us, how is the party going to deal with this, and also the other issues such as controversy over NEET and the implementation of the criminal laws? So many things that the opposition has been demanding. Do you think with the reduced numbers of the BJP, this is going to be a problem?
A very good morning, Vasudha. And we welcome every single member of Parliament of the 18th Lok Sabha. I hope that everyone comes together to ensure that the nation progresses and the Parliament is allowed to run. Now, we have been having this really long and negative discussion about the pro-tem speaker. But appointing the longest serving MP is not the law. It is merely convention. But even if we were to follow convention, it is absolutely being followed even in this case, because Mehtab ji is a 7th-term member of Parliament, continuously the 7th term, while as for K. Suresh ji, it is only his 4th continuous term. And he's a senior leader, he's a well-respected leader. Why doesn't the India Alliance appoint him as the leader of opposition? In fact, I would encourage them to do so. Instead of pointing fingers when none are required, instead of understanding that a continuous service of 7 years in the Parliament is longer than 4 years, they should be thinking to appoint the 7th-term, 8th-term MP as the leader of opposition. Apart from that, if the opposition wants to rake up the issue of NEET, let me remind them that the government has been proactive about every single thing. The government has ensured that a CBI inquiry, in fact, has been called into NEET. They have even sacked the DG of the NTA. So at every single step, we are ensuring that the welfare of the students of this country is secure. And if there is an institutional problem, it is going to be done away with.
Right. We also have Mr. Khan. Sorry, Mr. Khan, you couldn't complete your point last time. Tell us, how is the Congress party looking at this? Also, you heard the BJP spokesperson talk about, positive dialogue. Also, the parliamentary minister has also spoken about this, saying that this is time for discussion and dialogue. Is this also an opportunity for the opposition to reinvent its parliament politics?
Good. I have heard the BJP spokesperson, talking positive things. Good that the strength of the opposition, with the strength of the opposition, the attitude of the government in power has changed. Now they are having conciliatory tones. Congress party from the very beginning believes, and for the past 10 years, they have responsibly, discharged the duty of a responsible, positive opposition parties, and that is what we are going to do. As far as pro-term speaker issue is concerned, I want to remind the BJP spokesperson that Mr. K. Suresh is an 8-term MP, not a 4-term MP. Secondly, Mr. Mahtab, who is now being, will be appointed as a pro-term speaker, is a 7-term MP. It's a fact that he has been elected 7 terms consecutively. But Mr. K. Suresh has been MP since 1989 for 8 terms. So Mr. K. Suresh is senior than Mr. Mehtab. So it's a convention, I agree. But the senior most member of the parliament, which is K. Suresh, who has been elected for 8 terms, needs to be appointed as per convention. This shows the attitude of the government in power. Now, for the pro-term speaker who will be appointed for 2 or 3 days, they are not ready to talk to the opposition. What will they do? And the NEET scam, the stock exchange scam, these are the issues, pro-people's issues, which we are going to raise in the parliament.
Right. Let me ask Rashid Kidwai this question, sir. Also, what does this mean for Rahul Gandhi? Because we heard K. Suresh also talk about, the opposition leader, who will be the LOP, who's going to be the deputy speaker. Do you think this is also an opportunity for the Gandhi family to sort of, change that impression that Rahul Gandhi has, in certain sections about himself, which has actually gotten, changed in the last few days about him being a part-time politician? Do you think that this is also a time for the opposition to rework its strategy?
Absolutely, Vasudha. Vasudha, we must remember, Parliament is the temple of democracy. Leader of opposition, by going by convention in England, is a shadow prime minister. It is time for Mr. Rahul Gandhi to come forward and lead from front. It will entail a lot of visibility. It comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of interaction and functional relationship with prime minister and with the government. So all these things, Rahul Gandhi should be doing it. He missed a chance by not becoming a minister in Manmohan Singh government. Now it is the time. If he doesn't become, there is no plausible explanation. If he wants to, build a party, then also Parliament is a very good forum because the Parliament will give him a lot of opportunities. So there is no plausible explanation to my mind not to become. If he doesn't become, then obviously that stigma that he's, is unable to take responsibility or he shies away will stick, and this would be unfortunate for the Congress and the opposition.
Okay, thank you, Rashid. Also, you can see visuals of Kiren Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, and also Arjun Meghwal, also Senior Minister. Both of them are at the residence of the Pro-Tem Speaker, Bhartrihari Mahtab. Remember, he's BJP MP, a 7-term MP. He was with the BJD earlier, somebody who's seen as, really acquainted with parliamentary processes. He has functioned, he has operated as the head of the Standing Committee on Labour as well. So, of course, the processes of the Parliament will begin today with him being administered the oath, and of course that will be done by President Draupadi Murmu. After that, he will also be administering the oath. But of course, Congress Party has decided to boycott the proceedings of this panel that has been made to assist the Pro-Tem Speaker because of this controversy that we are following over the seniority of Mr. Mahtab versus the seniority of Mr. K. Suresh.
राजनीति पे क्या कहेंगे जो हो रही है?
आज सबको धन्यवाद.
There you see the reaction coming in. Yes, you see the reaction.
Okay, I'll come to Smita Gupta and Jyotsna in a bit, but time for a short break. We'll be back after this.
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
Balcony?
Same है.
Drawing room?
भी same है.
Kitchen area?
Same है.
हमने लिए 90 लाख में, आपने लिए 80 लाख में.
ये सेम क्यों नहीं?
क्योंकि आपके और हमारे होम सर्च ऐप सेम नहीं है. जानिए प्राइस ट्रेंड्स और सही ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइसेस on 99acres.com. घर लेना हो या बेचना, 99 acres से ही पूछना.
Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, Mother of All, Chennai.
Welcome back. We are coming to you from Vijay Chowk, which is just a few kilometers away from the new parliament. The new parliament session is going to convene today. In fact, it's the Lok Sabha, the 18th Lok Sabha, that is going to convene today. And there's already a controversy on the pro-term speaker, which of course the treasury benches and the opposition are trying to in some ways talk about, with the opposition saying that K. Suresh should have been appointed the pro-term speaker. K. Suresh is the MP from Mavelikara in Kerala. 7-term MP, but with a truncated term, which is why the president seems to have gone with Bhartrihari Mahtab, a BJP MP, was earlier with the BJD. He's an MP from Cuttack who has had 7 consecutive terms as an MP. Now, just a while ago, Kiren Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, and also Arjun Meghwal, Senior Minister, went to his residence. What we are told is that, of course, from now, just a short while from now, the proceedings of the first day of the Parliament will begin over the next 2 days. Over the course of next 2 days, you will see a lot of MPs taking oath. Today, the Prime Minister will be taking oath. His Council of Ministers will also be taking oath. Apart from that, there's a panel that has been put in place which will be assisting the pro-term speaker with all his duties. Remember, the oath-taking responsibilities are huge. Now, the Congress party could be most likely also boycotting the support to the pro-term speaker. Sudip Bandyopadhyay and K. Suresh and T.R. Balu, who's from the DMK, and Sudip Bandyopadhyay from the TMC have already said that sources have said that they will not be part of this panel. So clearly, much politics there. Let me go across to Smita Gupta. Smita ma'am, recently you wrote this story on UP, on how the BJP from Western UP to Purvanchal to Awadh managed to, in some ways, reduce its numbers. And in that ways, it looks not just like a localized problem, but it just looks like a cause of concern for the BJP. The same thing similarly, seems to have happened in Maharashtra as well. Do you think the reduced numbers for the BJP will reflect in its parliamentary strategy, or do you think because it's still the dominant party and this is a strong alliance, the BJP will want to sort of create, keep that dominance alive even in the parliament?
Vasudha, the thing is that when the election results came in, the first response of most commentators and people like us was that since the numbers had changed, since the opposition was going to be much stronger, the BJP would perforce have to concede some space to the opposition. But the behavior of the BJP in the last, since the results came in, demonstrates that they want to run the parliament in exactly the same way as they did in the last two sessions. Let's take up first the issue of the pro tem speaker. Now, the issue of the pro tem speaker in itself is not very important. After all, the pro tem speaker, it's more an honor to that person rather than any kind of, giving away some powers to the opposition. But even in that, the BJP has decided not to concede that space, despite the fact that they have an MP who is senior to anybody in the BJP. Forget the quibbling about whether there has been a break or there hasn't been a break. It would have been an extremely nice gesture on the part of the BJP to concede that post to the opposition. Number two, I think the real issue is about the post of the speaker and the post of the deputy speaker. If you remember in the last session, the BJP felt it was not even necessary to have a deputy speaker, which is actually a really shocking state of affairs. We are going to the parliament is going to elect its new speaker on Wednesday. Today is Monday. Nobody yet knows who the speaker is going to be. By now, we should have had a proper name. There's only been speculation so far. So again, that kind of secrecy around the issue of the speaker. There has been no discussion on whether the deputy speaker's post will be given to the opposition, which it should be by convention and in every other way. Initially, if you recall, Vasudha, the Telugu Desam party had asked the BJP that could the speaker be from the Telugu Desam party. They didn't make any demands as far as ministerial posts were concerned. They only made two demands. One was about benefits for the state of Andhra Pradesh, money to rebuild the state capital and so forth. And the second was about the speaker. It is very clear that they're not going to concede it to the TDP. Now, the point is that whoever is the ruling party, it is the ruling party's job to run parliament. I don't understand. I've been watching for the last so many years when the Manmohan Singh government was in power. Somehow it was the job of the Manmohan Singh government to run parliament, ensure it functions, etc. Now comes Modi government. It is still the responsibility of the opposition. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, that's a very good point. Let me get the BJP spokesperson here. Charu, Smita is also saying that, it is the job of the ruling party to run the government. Do you think it's more time for the BJP, for the treasury benches to ensure that there's more outreach, more dialogue, more backroom talks? At the end of the day, politics is so much about optics and symbolism. These arrangements that used to happen, that we used to think, hear about in the 90s, that there would be shouting, but there would also be bills passed, but there would not be suspensions. Do you think it's time to go back to that kind of parliamentary politics as well?
I really do wish, Vasudha, that we go back to a time when the opposition was constructive, when the opposition wanted to help the government to run by being in a place where they were criticizing the government, but also offering suggestions which were helping the government do better work. That does not exist today, unfortunately. If there is going to be so much of disruption in the parliament that MPs are climbing on top of the desks and tearing up files and in fact, even sometimes attacking the marshals. It's a sad state of affairs. This time around, I have better hopes from the opposition, and I hope the government is able to function better. We all understand that running the parliament for every hour costs our country a lot of money, and the parliament being in session is supposed to put forward the best agendas and make sure maximum work happens in the short time that they are together. So fingers crossed for this time, and I hope the opposition, if it has something constructive to say, should say it. Otherwise, allow the sessions to run.
Absolutely. Jyotsna, would you like to say something on this? Because Smita also pointed out how the TDP has had a precedent of having a speaker. We all know Mr. Balayogi was a speaker then. Is it something that the TDP wanted? And if not, why? Why didn't the TDP ask for it, considering it has 16 MPs and the BJP is dependent on the TDP and JDU for the majority magic number of 272?
Vasudha, let me make it clear that TDP has never asked for the speaker in this particular term. It's a wrong statement. We never asked. We are just concerned, and we have been, concentrating only on the development of Andhra Pradesh. Very clear from our end. Even that was made clear by our Supremo and our Chief Minister Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu also. Here, in fact, my concern is, what is it all about the pro tem speaker? What is it all about? Why so much of a discussion on it? What's wrong? He's also a senior parliamentarian. He's got a vast experience. So what's wrong in having him as a pro tem speaker? Because there are no guidelines as such. There are no rules and restrictions or mandatory guidelines as such that these are the rules for a pro tem speaker to be chosen on. No, right? So we are following a convention. It's not that we are not following. But why so much of a fuss on a pro tem speaker thing? And here my concern is, today is the day wherein we have to welcome the newly elected members of parliament into the parliament. So on the first day itself, you are going to come on to the government on a combative nature? I think that's not fair.
Okay.
That's absolutely not fair. You have to allow the government to run. You have to play the role of a constructive opposition. And again, I have one more point, Vasudha. They are all talking about, 26, there is speaker election. They still haven't given the name. The House is going to be commencing from today. We still have no idea as to who's going to be the leader of opposition. We still have no idea.
Okay,
no
but we
one is
also
talking
don't know
about it.
Yes, just now, but like Smita said that, we also don't know who the speaker is. And, I did speak to many allies of the NDA, and most of them have been reached out to by the BJP. But clearly, they've been told that the speaker is going to be from the BJP, which is understandable. But deputy speaker is a post that a lot of us think could be given to one of the allies, which is why, the TDP becomes important here. But I get your point. Smita, how important here are matters of symbolism? Because, when you say that statues had to be moved to Prerna Sthal, and the opposition makes a point that B.R. Ambedkar statue was also moved away. Then, you talk about K. Suresh. K. Suresh is an MP from this SC reserved constituency of Maveli Kara. So clearly there is more symbolism there. Do you think some of these controversies, while they are deemed as non-issues by the BJP, do have an impact in the way, the country, or for that matter, even the opposition perceives the BJP's outreach to different caste communities and, of course, to different voter groups, and also its own projection of itself as an inclusive party?
Well, first, Vasudha, I would like to address some of the issues that the BJP spokesperson raised. I don't know how many years she's been in the BJP and whether she was in the party during the period when Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister. She talked about a constructive opposition which allows the government to do its work. I would urge her to go back and look at the records of that period and the behavior of the BJP in Parliament. And I also recall that Mr. Arun Jaitley, who was the late Arun Jaitley, who was an extremely senior leader of the BJP, what he had said about the role of the opposition. I think they need to look back at how they behaved when they were in opposition, firstly, in the context of this use of this phrase, constructive opposition. The opposition is not a junior member of the government. The opposition is the opposition. It has to be allowed to have its say in the House. Number two, I'll go back to the Vajpayee era. I recall that there are certain important positions in government which where the panel used to be the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and the leader of the opposition. At that time, it was Mr. Sharad Pawar. I've heard this story from Mr. Pawar himself that for the particular position, the government brought in a list of 5 names for that position. And then Mr. Vajpayee turned to Mr. Advani and said, the Congress has more experience in running government. So let Mr. Pawar choose out of this list of 5. So Mr. Pawar chose and that person got the position. Why did Mr. Vajpayee do it? You have to make certain concessions to the opposition. And that is how you run parliament. Because when you are also seen as wishing to cooperate, then you will get the cooperation back. Whether that opposition is 10 MPs or whether it's 250 MPs, you have to give it that respect. Those people represent the voices of so many people in this country. You run your government whichever way you want. But how can you run parliament as
yes,
parliament?
We have Sujata Paul of the Congress Party. Yes, absolutely. But before that, Charu, would you like to respond to this? Because, that there's a lot of criticism over the fact that MPs were suspended. But do you think this was something that the Treasury benches had to do because the opposition was not in a mood to talk? Or do you think that there could have been more efforts made in the last few sessions of the parliament to generate a sense of confidence amongst the opposition regarding the government?
Absolutely. And with all due respect to my co-panelist, ma'am, it doesn't matter what my age is or how many years I've been in the Bharatiya Janata Party. I am aware of our history very clearly. And if you believe that kind of disruption is good, then please continue with it. But if you are trying to say that we need to get better and better with every term of the government, then that is what we need to be focusing on. Another thing to remember here is I don't remember a time in history when marshals were attacked, when marshals were sent to the hospital with serious injuries by members of parliament. If we don't suspend them, then what does the government do? And at the same time, when we are ensuring that we are creating some kind of a controversy, even on simple issues of appointing a pro tem speaker, which is only for the next couple of days, do you really expect the opposition to continue to allow the government to function in any manner whatsoever? And I'll give you a simple example. They went on and on saying the Prime Minister needs to speak about Manipur, but when the Prime Minister spoke about Manipur, what did the so-called constructive opposition do? They staged a walkout. They were out of the parliament, and in fact, there have been such outstanding MPs in all of the 17th Lok Sabha that they remained outside parliament more or less the entire time. You put together their hours inside parliament versus outside, you'll know the truth. So here we have still managed to give this country a historic 17th term of the Lok Sabha. Major changes, positive, constructive changes have happened in the country, and we hope, fingers crossed, that the 18th Lok Sabha will perform even better when it comes to developmental parameters, and we do need the cooperation of the opposition for that.
Okay, let me get the Congress spokesperson Sujata Paul also. Sujata, would you like to respond to Charu, because she's making an important point that the Treasury benches, the BJP at least gave some sort of space to the opposition. Do you think that was enough, or do you think that needs to change in the present Lok Sabha?
It's ironical that the BJP spokesperson has already set the agenda according to her. So let the parliament begin, because when you talk about disruption should not happen. And this is the responsibility of the ruling party to ensure that everybody is on board. But when you have somebody who has been touting himself as the Ek Akela Sab Pe Bhari, I want to see what he says now. And getting people together is important for the sake of the country. We have seen 10 years of a mandate that was given for governance, but the mandate was used for proclaiming and hailing one man by the BJP as the everything of everybody. So that's not how it works. This is a country of diversity, and the members of parliament should be taken on board, and there should be healthy discussions. But you're seeing the issue of the pro tem speaker, how the BJP is on the back foot. But let us see how it progresses.
Right, that's an important point. Let me also remind my viewers that the 18th Lok Sabha convenes today. Important moves there in the sense Parliamentary Affairs Minister Mr. Kiran Rijiju has already visited the house of Bhartrihari Mahtab, who has been appointed the pro tem speaker. What we hear is around 10 o'clock, of course, the Prime Minister will come and address the media. President Draupadi Murmu will be administering the oath to Mr. Mahtab. He is a 7-term MP from Cuttack. He was with the BJD earlier. Now he's with the BJP. And of course, 11 a.m. is when the Lok Sabha convenes for the oath taking of all MPs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also expected to take oath. His Council of Ministers will also take oath. But before that, the pro-term speaker will be administered the oath. And MPs will, of course, then start taking oath in alphabetical order, is what we know. But of course, there's a lot of controversy there. And the opposition, it's a resurgent opposition this time with more numbers. And the subjects, the issues that could be raised, including the cancellation of at least 3 nationwide examinations, the controversy over NEET, CBI probe that has been ordered into that, the train accident that took place in West Bengal. Apart from that, a couple of other issues, including implementation of the criminal laws. And of course, TMC has also raised the issue of the centre not consulting the party when it comes to agreement with Bangladesh on the sharing of Ganga water. So that's all what we can expect right now. But of course, going back to our discussion, Smita, what do you have to say about just the optics of it? What could be expected today, and what are your expectations?
Well, today, apart from the fact that the opposition chairpersons who were supposed to assist the pro tem speaker will boycott, the first half of the MPs will take their oath today. The other half will take their oaths tomorrow. Meanwhile, I think at Mr. Kharge's house, there's going to be a meeting of the Congress party, the parliamentary party, and the various political parties will now decide, how, what issues to take up in parliament, etc. I think Mr. Kiran Rijiju, as the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, he really has his work cut out for him, because it will be his task to reach out to everybody in the House. So let us wish him luck that he is able to do it.
Right.
And of course, there will be discussion on who the speaker will be and whether the deputy speaker's job will be given to the opposition.
Absolutely. Charu, also, do you think the reduced numbers will in some ways impact the BJP's commitments when it comes to governance, when it comes to bills, when it comes to, last term was really heavy. We saw so many new bills being introduced. Do you think the government will try to sort of space it out this time, considering that there's more work that needs to be done in terms of managing the House, making sure that it runs?
Yes, compared to the last term, the number of MPs the NDA has this term are lesser. But at the same time, the party and the government has managed to build consensus in the Rajya Sabha for the passing of important bills. So working together in a diplomatic way for the welfare of the country is something which is not new to the members of this government, and hopefully the same will be continued this time as well. I just want to quickly respond to the Congress spokesperson when she said the importance of one person. Well, let me remind her that in your party, the importance of one person actually shifts to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who's not even the president of your party. So instead of considering the name of your very senior 8-term member of parliament, K. Sureshji, as the leader of opposition, he's nowhere in conversation. Why does the conversation revolve only around the Gandhis? So please do not be pointing fingers for a situation where you live in a glass castle. Let's instead focus on ensuring that everybody is cooperative. Let's instead focus on ensuring that whatever are the issues that need to be resolved and discussed in Parliament this time are done so with utmost sincerity.
Right, absolutely. Last word from you, Sujata Paul, before I wrap up this discussion.
The responsibility of running the Parliament, like I said earlier, rests solely and wholly on the government. The fact is that there has been a huge trust deficit, and that one man that we were talking about is no longer that 56th inch that he professed to be, because now he stands exposed with paper leaks, with infrastructure coming down. And we have seen how he has been reacting. He has kept mum on all the contentious issues that are plaguing the country today. And when we hear N. Biren Singh, for example, talk about prioritizing the Manipur issue and peace returning to it in 2-3 months, it clearly means that for the last 14 months, it wasn't a priority. For the Prime Minister, it is, of course, a priority to get the Gujarat government, Gujarat companies, all the contracts. And now with this Parliament session, it will be this one man who will be on target because he has to answer for a lot to the people of this country.
Absolutely. Thank you, all of you, for joining me on this discussion. Kiren Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, has also met with T.R. Balu, senior DMK MP, also one of amongst the senior most MPs, and he's also part of the panel that has been put in place to assist the pro-term speaker in executing his responsibilities. So clearly, a lot of action there. What we hear is ministers and MPs have already started arriving. 10:15 is when Congress MPs will assemble at Mallikarjun Kharge, Congress President's chambers in the Parliament office, and will also decide on the strategy. There's a lot of boycott that is expected. There's also a business that is expected today on the first day of the Parliament, even as the 18th Lok Sabha convenes.